Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick look and overview of the latest version of the S1 from GOOSKY. Now I have looked at previous editions of this and also gone through how you would set up your radio for something like this as well. This is the new Legend edition and they have tweaked three things. So I thought it was worthwhile getting one in and having a look at it. One of the big reasons I wanted to was because this has a new flight controller, show you that in a minute, that not only has inbuilt Futaba protocol support, which is how the old ones did it as well. In fact, I think a lot of the guys at GOOSKY are actually ex-OMP hobby people. So there's a lot of similarities between how these helicopters are set up in terms of the basics. But this new flight controller has support for ExpressLRS. Well, CRSF, so that could be ExpressLRS, it could be Crossfire, or it could be Tracer, it could be anything that talks CRSF. And I was really excited about that because that means that I potentially could control this with my ExpressLRS radios. However, there is a massive problem with this. I have talked about this already. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail towards the end of the video, but I need to say a massive thank you to every one of you that have come forward to try and help me sort this out. I've watched lots of setup videos for ExpressLRS on other GOOSKY models, and they all suffer from the same issue. So GOOSKY, if you're watching this, please respond to my email. I've sent you one. I'm quite happy to work with you to figure this out, because with a small firmware update, you could make this so much easier for everybody. So I've got this one from Banggood, so I'll put a link down below if you want to go and have a look at it. With the exception of the ExpressLRS disappointment, this is actually, again, a beautiful little helicopter. The headlines for this: it has a more compact GTS flight controller with a new algorithm for better feel. It has built-in FSHS protocol support, that Futaba stuff that pretty much everyone seems to run for these things, and it also supports ExpressLRS telemetry. So you can get telemetry back to your radio, which will give things like head speed, battery voltage, current use, and all that stuff too. That's fantastic. Sadly, there is a flaw, but again, get that in a minute. Digital metal geared servos for the swash, connecting rod-free head setup. You can connect the little Bluetooth thing into the port at the side and connect it over the phone for some basic setup stuff. I think GOOSKY could make an awful lot more of that, specifically again around the control that you're using, whether that's the inbuilt Futaba stuff via S-Bus or via CRSF. That should be exposed via the app. Though they have the app, I think it's rather basic, and I would have hoped it would have evolved a little bit by now. Dual brushless motor setup, direct drive for both, which makes it easy. I have direct drive on a couple of my helis here and it makes it very quiet. And there's a new power system for higher efficiency and that lower noise. So the changes over the GOOSKY S1, the ones I've had before, first and foremost is there's new colour schemes. I've got this kind of funky purple pinky colour. There's also different versions as well. The integrated support for ExpressLRS, I've got one on the top of here. This is actually an RP2 from Radio Master, has the little square ceramic antenna on it, which is perfect for this. You're not going to be really flying it that far away because you won't be able to see the thing. It's not particularly big. And also tweaked it so it's got a stronger fuselage. So the structure of the design has been upgraded just to make it a little bit stronger so that it'll survive crashes and wear and tear a little bit better as well. The rest of it is pretty much the same as the previous version. So again, dual brushless direct drive, support 3D acrobatics if you want to do it. Mobile app adjustment is the same as it was before. Really like the easy battery removal. You can get the battery in and out of here without taking off the canopy, and nice high-end metal geared servos that seem to be working really nicely. Specs, well, this is the GOOSKY S1 Legend. Body length is 278mm, body height is 88, width is 54mm, main rotor diameter is 290mm, the tail rotor is just 53mm, takeoff weight is around 107 grams, so well under 250 grams if that's important to you. Flight times, they advertise it as about 8 minutes. It really depends on how you're going to fly this thing. If you're going to fly it like you stole it, you're going to get significantly less than that. Now, there's lots of things that I like about this. These are beautiful helicopters. GOOSKY makes some really nice stuff. I like the way that you can install the battery without having to remove the canopy. I like the direct drive that they have on the main gear so that there is no gear mesh to worry about or maintain, and it's a lot quieter too. And the standard classic CPPM 120-degree head for clean swash movement too. However, there are a couple of things to be aware of with this, and GOOSKY have the ability to sort this out pretty easily. Most of this stuff is kind of firmware related. I would love it if GOOSKY came out with an EdgeTX Lua script that you could run on your radio that would present all of the telemetry information in a nice, easy way, like a little virtual cockpit. That would be such a cute thing to do. And also have much better manuals for this stuff on how you do everything with this model. The manual that comes with it is super basic, but having information here about how you set your radio up, tips and tricks for ExpressLRS configuration just isn't about. And if you're going to produce something that has support for CRSF where people will want to use it with ExpressLRS, then you're doing a disservice if you're not providing the information to keep pilots safe and also give them a great experience out the box. Lots of spares though, so do make sure that you can get hold of spares, things like the tail, feathering shafts, linkages, those kind of things, because when you crash these things, they do tend to bend and break stuff. For me, the big headline issue with this, the actual helicopter itself is as beautiful as the original version and the improvements are welcome. However, the big issue I have is with ExpressLRS with the current versions, channel 5 has to be in a high position in order for all the ExpressLRS goodness to be on. Fortunately, with this system, channel 5 is still used for flight modes. So only when channel 5 is in a high position, and that will either be selecting, like 6G mode or your Acro 3D mode, then that's when ExpressLRS is turned on. When it's in the other position, you're going to have issues with performance and range of your ExpressLRS link. That is far from ideal if you're going to be running a helicopter. For most pilots, if you're flying really close in, you might get away with it and it might be fine. But for larger helicopters, that's just dangerous. GOOSKY, please update the firmware on this to give pilots the option to remap 5, 6, 7 and 8 as channels that do different bits and pieces down a channel to make it clear of channel 5. This is going to become a non-issue when ExpressLRS version 4.0 comes out and we finally get rid of the channel 5 legacy. However, right now, it does mean that you're asking something that's designed to arm and disarm the ExpressLRS goodness, because it was also supposed to be arming the Betaflight flight controller as well, to do something in a helicopter that's less than ideal. So for me, I would use, if you're going to get this, another receiver with an S-Bus connection, or use the inbuilt Futaba connection using a Futaba radio, or something like a 4-in-1, because right now ExpressLRS, until they fix it, is going to be suboptimal. What a shame. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Painless 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.